Have you ever just stared at a blank page or a new project or even just an empty space in your day and wondered, how does anything even begin? Well, that's what we're going to dive into today. We're exploring that exact moment of creation, how a thought, an idea, a piece of art, how it all comes from what feels like, well, nothing.
I mean, it's a huge question, right? It's fascinated thinkers for literally centuries. That leap from a total void to a real, tangible thing can feel like, I don't know, like magic. But what if there's a pattern to it? A process that we can not only understand, but actually use. You know, this whole idea is captured so perfectly in this quote that's going to guide us today. Before a drawing, the paper is empty, but we feel a picture wanting to emerge. It all starts with that feeling, doesn't it? A sense that something is just waiting in the wings, ready to be born. So let's really break that down. To really get a grip on creation, we first have to understand the starting point. And here's the key. It's not just emptiness. It's an emptiness that's absolutely full of possibility. So this first state, they call it pre-potential. It's a space of pure, undefined possibility before any kind of structure or plan exists. Think of an empty garden plot. You know something could grow there, for sure, but there's no seed yet, no plan, not even a specific flower in mind. It's just open. Okay, so now imagine someone hands you a specific seed. This is the very next stage, potential. All that undefined possibility has now collapsed into a very specific direction. It's not a flower yet, no, but it now holds the structured possibility of becoming one. That's the moment an artist first thinks dragon, even before a single line is drawn on the page. So here's the big shift, right? Pre-potential is that quiet moment before the inspiration strikes, where we just sense that something is possible. Potential, that's the spark itself. It's the blueprint, the idea, the specific what that is now asking to be made real. So we have our spark, our potential. The next logical step seems obvious. Make it real. But, as we're about to see, this story is way more interesting than just a simple straight line from point A to point B. On the surface, the path looks pretty simple, pretty linear. You start with the empty space of pre-potential. You get that spark of an idea, that's potential, and then you act on it. You create something real. We'll call that final step actuality. So actuality, that's the moment of creation everyone recognizes. It's when you plant the seed and it starts to sprout. It's when the artist finally puts that charcoal to the paper and the dragon comes to life for everyone else to see. The idea isn't just in your head anymore. It's out there in the world. And right here, this is where it gets really, really fascinating. Making something real isn't the end of the journey. In fact, most of the time, it's the beginning of a brand new one. This shows us that the whole process isn't a line at all. It's a spiral. Think about it with Legos. You start with the pre-potential of a whole box of bricks. Then you get an idea, the potential to build one single block. You build it, and that's actuality. But that block isn't the end. It immediately becomes the foundation for a new potential, the idea to build a car, a house, maybe a whole city. Every single thing you create expands the field of possibility for what comes next. Now, this creative spiral, it's not just a cool metaphor for making stuff. The big idea here is that this might just be a fundamental blueprint for how reality itself works and how we are all actively participating in it. When we try to formalize this, the question becomes pretty simple. Is there a valid path from an idea, let's just call it A, to a real-world creation, B? Because if a path like that exists, it means the idea isn't just a fantasy, it's genuinely possible. This collection of all the valid ways to get from idea A to reality B, that's what makes something truly possible. It's like a map. If you have an idea for a painting, that's A, and at least one path exists, meaning you have paint, a canvas, the skill to use them, then a finished painting, B, is totally achievable. If that set of paths is empty, well, the idea just stays an idea. And what's just remarkable is how universal this creative pattern really is. This isn't just some nice theory for artists. It appears to be a fundamental mechanic of reality. The ancient philosopher Aristotle was talking about it as potentiality becoming actuality. In biology, a single type of cell, an actuality, creates the potential for brand new complex tissues. Even evolution works this way, where a new trait, an actuality, opens up entirely new possibilities and pathways for a species. It's the same spiral, just playing out at every single level of existence.
So, after all this, what is the one thing you should walk away with? What does this mean for you, right here and right now? It all comes down to this. Don't be afraid of emptiness. That is where all the magic begins. That feeling of not knowing, of facing that blank page, that isn't a sign that you've failed. It's pre-potential. It is the fertile, quiet ground from which every single great idea has ever grown. It's the necessary starting point for all the magic. Ultimately, you are the engine of this spiral. Every time you imagine, you shape potential. Every time you act, you create a new actuality that expands what's possible next. So the only question left is the one right there on the screen. What potential is waiting inside you, ready to emerge? What magic will you let begin?